Let's face it, our roads are just not coping. This election asked the politicians if they have a plan.
It was one of the most successful examples of community representation in recent political experience.
Australia's automotive clubs launching an election year campaign calling for investment in the nation's roads.
Motorists are contributing to the revenue base, and what they want to see is that they're going to get fairer value for the taxes that they pay.
In 2013, the Australian Automobile Association, on behalf of its constituent clubs and their 7 million members, put infrastructure well and truly on the election agenda.
Infrastructure in Australia.
World-class infrastructure.
Regional infrastructure.
And much-needed infrastructure investment.
Top infrastructure project.
National infrastructure projects.
Since the first car turned a wheel in Australia, automobiles have been part of the political agenda, whether through taxation, trade or safety. Only a few years after vehicles were seen on the nation's roads, motoring clubs started forming. Their role? To work with governments to achieve a fairer deal for members and advocate for better roads. In the roaring 20s, the car population boomed, with almost 500,000 registered by the end of the decade. So in 1924, the state clubs came together for a historic first meeting. It happened in Adelaide, and what would become the Australian Automobile Association was born. The first meeting called for national traffic laws and signals, a code for warning signs and cross-border recognition of driving licences. In a world with poor quality roads and fragile vehicle reliability, professional roadside assistance patrols were as necessary and appreciated by members as police, fire and ambulance. Serving members has always been core business.
We've been helping people for a long time on the roads when the cars break down. We know that happens at home, and we're now taking that emergency help into the home. We're calling it emergency home assistance. We've also been historically involved in travel and touring, and we are looking at providing people great holidays, great travel, whether it's here or overseas.
A symbol of post-war prosperity, the motor car quickly became the domain of the ordinary worker, and that brought a renewed focus to promote safer cars, safer roads, and become a voice for the consumer to improve motoring affordability.
We're about our members' interests, and those members are voters and they're Australians. Australian governments have a responsibility to protect Australians. The message was clear that we represent 7 million members, and they are passionate about issues such as road safety.
Through their new car evaluation program, the clubs work to improve the quality of vehicles on the market and to provide members with a definitive source of reliable information. With our cousin, the Confederation of Australian Motorsport, the AAA is aligned with the FIA, the world peak body, and is working with developing clubs to improve road safety throughout the Asia Pacific.
Not everybody has the successful organisations that we have here, such as the RACV, NRMA, etc., RACQ. And so it's my responsibility to ensure that we use the expertise and resources of these clubs to assist the developing nations.
We will cease our manufacturing operations in October of 2016.
Building cars in this country is just not sustainable.
Toyota will stop building cars in Australia by the end of 2017.
With the automotive industry changing, so too is the need to continually update policy positions to represent members.
Why have tariffs on auto imports if there's no local production to protect?
Our view is that the revenue that's currently being collected from tariffs on imported vehicles will not be required going forward. That should be returned to consumers. We think that on average it's between $1,000 and $2,000 per car.
We're very proud of our Demand Better Roads campaign, and I guess as a note of warning to members of Parliament, we're not going to go away. We are going to build on the success of that campaign so they can expect to hear from us often at election time.
I think the highest priority is improving the infrastructure, which includes safer roads.
The Australian Automobile Association, the national voice for enhanced mobility, improved road safety and consumer rights.